Cake is the latest single for Lupe Fiasco's upcoming album Samurai, which will apparently be following the story of Amy Winehouse if she were to be a battle rapper in Japan. This track is supposed to be the third in the album's track list, and if we're to take this project as a chronological record of her story or just her life, this should be pretty early on in her career, which I feel is a totally reasonable thing to think about when you look at the track. This track kind of has a braggadocious sound to it, which makes sense because, you know, when you're early on in your rap career, especially if you're particularly cocky, you'll go around saying how great you are all the time. And that is a lot of what we hear here. However, Lupe does a good job of towing that line and still throws out a lot of bars that are like, oh, I know, I still respect all the people around me. The track starts off with the chorus, which says,
I've won many things I've done, but this one here, this one takes the cake.
The perspective from which he's rapping is somebody who has seen early and easy successes, just in general, not necessarily with battle rap, but just in life. So everything they've done well at. And they're one of those people that no matter what they do, like they pick something up and they'll just randomly be good at it. Like, oh, I'm gonna just learn how to ride a skateboard real quick and do a crazy trick. Like that's the sort of person they are. But this latest win is the biggest and most important thing to them. Now, this is likely just because like battle rap is a new thing to them and they're really invested in it. This is something that they've actually had to work at almost. And, you know, following this battle rap idea, like, sure, they've probably done individual battles here and there. But the reason that this is also very important to them is because this is probably a competition. Like they've gone through a bunch of different rappers and they've come up on top. And like I was mentioning, while this track can be seen as braggadocious, I feel like Lupe does a good job of remaining humble with how the first verse starts.
Yeah. Compliments on my accomplishments are only possible due to your involvement, volume, level, and confidence.
He's basically just acknowledging like, hey, without everyone else involved, this would be nothing. This means nothing to me otherwise. Because, you know, he could just be sitting there rapping at a wall and, you know, what comes of that? Nothing really. Like I think these raps are good, but you're not really getting any confirmation from anybody. So by, you know, performing it in front of people, by battling people, you're seeing these reactions in real time and you're kind of understanding that these people are also involved. He kind of also touches on this further with,
I think all you motherfuckers and opposites still play a vital role in my conquering.
If we're to tie this back into battle rap specifically, like you can't really have a battle rap or rap battle without a second person, at least. Like you need someone else there. So he's acknowledging that, yo, like I actively need somebody to battle and I also need the crowd around me because, again, that's what's lifting everyone up. And, you know, it's interesting because if we go back to this being the start of somebody's career, I feel like you're gonna do well. You feel like you're the shit, right? But you also do kind of acknowledge that there's other people there. Like you need these other people. You need the confirmation that you're a good rapper, essentially. Lupe also does a good job of giving us bars that might take a minute to understand, but are still easy enough to decipher and like just get the gist of at first. Such as,
Consuming the comments and then vomiting up the Vonnegut.
You could just be like, oh yeah, this is just obviously talking about forming a response to someone's raps. But what's a Vonnegut? Well, Vonnegut, for those who are interested, was a writer known for his satirical and dark humor novels, which when it comes to battle rap makes a lot of sense, right? Like you're gonna want to form a response pretty quickly or have something ready, right? But if you just rap something in response, that's fine. Like you can probably do well, you can probably connect somehow. But if you bring in random references or make it funny, like you connect to the audience and the person that you're rapping against a little more. So like, you know, you have to have something to make yourself stand out, which I feel like does well here.
Ominous as a monster is underneath your posturepedic, possibly in the closet. It's a necropolis.
We all have that monster underneath our bed. The bed in this case is a posturepedic, which could go into the battle rap thing again, because you're going to find any little thing to kind of pick apart, right? Like, oh, you realize that the person that you're rapping sleeps on a posturepedic. Okay, maybe they're just hella bougie. Maybe they have sleep problems. Maybe there's like a reason for this. In this case, the reason they have the Posturepedic is probably because of the monster underneath the bed. They needed to get a good night's sleep, but the monster keeps fucking with them. But going further, this monster could be underneath the bed, or it could be in the closet. But inside the closet is an Acropolis, which, is the Greek city on top of the hill, good defensive stance. But if you look at it differently, like you're like, oh wait, maybe Lupe is saying that the monstrosity that they are is so big that it takes over the entire Acropolis, or you need to be on an Acropolis to even consider fighting back. Like there's so many different ways you can think about it, but it's up to interpretation at that point. Moving on to the second verse, it does have a bit more of an intentional cadence to it, which I enjoyed. Although I am slightly disappointed that Lupe said birthday cake for breakfast, slice it like a ninja, instead of finding some way to fit samurai into the verse. But I think it sounds fine as it is. It makes sense. I understand. I'll let it slide. There is another line, though, that I am curious about, and I wish I understood right away or fully what he means by
Author-rain is August, wordplay is December. That mean my pen is in cinders.
Like, sure, he's been talking about progression, like, in August, that's when you started. That's when you started writing. The wordplay comes later. Like it takes some time to really build that up. And he's been writing this entire time. So the friction from the pen on the paper is basically burning up the pen, and all that's left is cinders. But because Lupe is Lupe, I just expect something else there. Like, is there an author that is like that goes by August? Did they write something about December? I don't know. Let me know. I also, before the song ended, really enjoyed the lines.
This is what didn't get it, getting hitting the different difference. What did he do with it, didn't she? Who are you mentioning? Lou would do a dual identity, dueling enemies. Do it to him, chewing through him without doing it dentally.
Sounds like Lupe is just looking at disses and shots thrown in general, which surely connects to battle raps. But the person that's being referred to here seems to be putting on a face or playing nice at times, hence the dual identity. And they're just going to get chewed up with these raps, presumably. Both this track, Cake, and Samurai really have me excited for the rest of the project. With these two songs, it almost feels like Lupe is connecting back to his first few albums, where it felt a little more playful, I guess. There's still solid raps here, but he's not really beating you over the head with it. Like, it's not hard to understand. He's generally pretty easy to digest. And I feel like he's really doing well with these choruses as well. As of right now, expectations for the whole album are very high. But that's all I've got for this song. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. If you've listened to it, if you haven't, definitely do that. And what you think the album's going to sound like. Is it going to be more of this, or is he just going to trick us into listening to something else? But anyways, while you're down there, also like and subscribe to see more rambling and content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.